Imagine you're standing in Atticus's shoes. You're curious about the world, but also feel distracted, unfocused, and overwhelmed by the endless stream of information. You've tried different ways to become smarter, more insightful, yet somehow the noise never fades. But then, you come across Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches not only tranquility and resilience, but promises a path to deeper intelligence, a clearer mind, and an enduring sense of purpose. What if ancient wisdom held the secret to unlocking the full potential of your mind? As we follow Atticus on this journey, ask yourself, are you open to discovering these principles? Can you let go of old assumptions and embrace a mindset of growth and transformation? If so, prepare to be intrigued as we explore 10 powerful Stoic techniques to increase your intelligence. 1. Cultivating curiosity over judgment. Atticus had always been quick to categorize things, assuming he understood what each experience or person had to offer. It was as though he walked through life labeling everything, but rarely stopping to explore. Yet, as he delved into Stoicism, he encountered an idea that changed everything. It is impossible for a person to begin to learn what he thinks he already knows. These words from Epictetus resonated deeply within him. Could it be that his judgments, rather than showcasing intelligence, were actually holding him back? Could the path to true wisdom lie instead in a mindset of curiosity? With this question in mind, Atticus decided to experiment. Instead of judging situations and people at face value, he began to ask questions. What was the backstory behind a friend's decision? Why did his mentor follow a particular approach to problem solving? What if he opened himself to perspectives that felt uncomfortable or unfamiliar? Curiosity, he realized, was like a door waiting to be opened. Imagine yourself in Atticus's place. The next time you encounter an opinion that differs from your own, or a subject that seems foreign, what if you chose curiosity instead of judgment? How would your understanding shift if you asked why or how, rather than assuming you already had the answer? Each moment spent in curiosity, Atticus learned, expanded his mind in ways that mere knowledge could not. He found that curiosity allowed him to engage with people more deeply, understand new ideas, and uncover insights hidden beneath the surface. Have you too been quick to judge, unintentionally missing the nuances that lie within others and within ideas? What if, like Atticus, you adopted a mindset of curiosity, actively seeking to explore rather than label? Each time you choose curiosity, you take a step towards the kind of intelligence that Stoicism champions, one that values understanding over assumption. Curiosity, Atticus learned, is not a passive quality. It's a conscious choice to question, to dig deeper, and to suspend judgment. As he practiced it, he noticed that his thoughts felt lighter, his interactions more meaningful, and his mind more agile. Intelligence, he discovered, wasn't just what he knew. It was his willingness to embrace what he didn't. Are you ready to follow in Atticus's footsteps, to break free from judgments and let curiosity expand your mind? This first step has set Atticus on a journey of transformation. Join him in the next part, where he learns the power of listening, a practice that demands not just his ears, but his whole attention. 2. The art of active listening. Atticus was accustomed to having answers. In most conversations, he found himself eager to share his thoughts, his insights, his opinions. But there was one habit he had yet to master, the art of truly listening. Stoicism, however, held listening as an essential skill, a gateway to genuine understanding. One day, as he read through the words of Epictetus, he stumbled upon a simple yet profound insight. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. It struck Atticus that listening wasn't about waiting for his turn to speak, but about being fully present with the other person, absorbing every word, tone, and gesture. To test this idea, Atticus decided to put active listening into practice. The next time he met with his friend Maya, he reminded himself to listen without interrupting, without drifting into his own thoughts. He asked questions, stayed engaged, and resisted the urge to prepare a response while she spoke. For the first time, Atticus noticed the subtle details he'd been missing, the emotion behind her words, the slight pauses as she gathered her thoughts, the relief in her eyes when he gave her his full attention. Imagine sitting across from someone, hearing them in this way. Could you, like Atticus, let go of the need to respond immediately? What if, instead, you leaned in, not just to the words being spoken, but to the emotions and intentions behind them? When we listen actively, we connect on a deeper level. We gain insights into people's motivations, perspectives, and experiences, enriching our understanding of the world around us. Active listening transformed Atticus's interactions. He found that by genuinely listening, he didn't just learn more about others, he learned more about himself. He became aware of his own biases, the ways in which he had been closed off to others' ideas, and the moments when he had failed to grasp what people were truly trying to express. Each conversation became an opportunity to learn, to broaden his understanding, and to engage with new ideas. In a world that values quick responses and sound bites, what if you embraced the art of listening instead? Could you allow yourself, even briefly, to listen without judgment or expectation? Active listening, Atticus realized, was a powerful Stoic technique that cultivated both intelligence and empathy. It reminded him that wisdom often lies in understanding, not just in sharing one's own ideas. Have you practiced active listening lately? Are you ready to follow in Atticus's footsteps, to listen more, speak less, and let others reveal the world to you through their unique perspectives? With this newfound skill, Atticus moves forward, diving into the next lesson on his Stoic journey: the refreshing, often challenging practice of deliberate disengagement. 3. Practicing deliberate disengagement. Atticus, now armed with a newfound curiosity and a deeper ability to listen, began to notice something unsettling. His mind was always buzzing, always jumping from thought to thought, task to task. Even in moments of quiet, he found himself mentally rehearsing conversations or planning his next move. It seemed as though he could never escape the constant flow of noise in his own head. Then, he encountered an idea in Stoicism that felt both counterintuitive and powerful: deliberate disengagement. The Stoics, Atticus learned, understood the value of stepping back, not in retreat, but to refresh the mind. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, once advised, "People seek retreats for themselves, in the country, by the sea, or in the mountains. But this is altogether a mark of the most common sort of men, for it is in your power whenever you shall choose to retire into yourself." Atticus was intrigued by the idea of retreating within, of purposefully disconnecting to gain clarity and renew his perspective. To practice deliberate disengagement, Atticus decided he would step away from his daily routine. He set aside his phone, closed his laptop, and retreated to a quiet park he often passed by but rarely visited. Sitting alone on a bench, he noticed how his mind raced at first, reaching for distractions, for anything to occupy it. But as he breathed deeply, gradually, the noise began to settle. In this quiet, he started to notice details he had missed before. The pattern of the leaves in the trees, the way the sunlight played on the grass, the faint sounds of nature that he had often ignored. Have you ever taken a break, not to check your phone or busy yourself with something else, but simply to be? What if, like Atticus, you allowed yourself the freedom to step back, to disengage from the constant demands of life, even just for a few minutes each day. In these moments of quiet, Atticus found that he could hear his own thoughts more clearly, that his mind felt refreshed, renewed, and surprisingly sharper. As he practiced this more regularly, Atticus began to see the benefits in all areas of his life. His ability to focus improved, his stress lessened, and he felt a new kind of resilience in the face of life's challenges. Deliberate disengagement, he realized, was not about escaping responsibilities. It was about creating intentional pauses, brief sanctuaries of silence, where his mind could breathe, reflect, and grow. In today's world of constant connectivity, how often do you give yourself the gift of silence? When was the last time you intentionally disconnected, not to avoid something, but to restore your own inner clarity and insight? Atticus found that these moments of deliberate disengagement weren't just a break from life. They were a step toward a clearer, wiser mind. With a clearer mind and renewed focus, Atticus was ready for his next lesson in Stoic intelligence: lifelong learning. 4. Maintaining lifelong learning. As Atticus continued his Stoic journey, he noticed a powerful theme emerging in the writings of the Stoic philosophers: the importance of continuous learning. Atticus had always thought of learning as something one did in school, a phase of life rather than a lifelong commitment. But in the words of Epictetus, he read a line that shook this belief: "Only the educated are free." Reflecting on this, Atticus realized that his previous approach to learning had been too narrow. He had focused on gathering facts, on becoming knowledgeable, but he hadn't embraced a true sense of wonder or sought wisdom in unexpected places. Inspired, he began to approach each day with a renewed eagerness to learn, not just through books or formal study, but through observation, through conversations, and through self-reflection. He decided to treat life itself as his classroom. Imagine waking up each morning with the mindset that every experience, every interaction, holds a lesson. What if you could approach each day with the curiosity of a child, eager to uncover the unknown, to see the world as a source of infinite wisdom? This shift transformed Atticus. He found that by embracing lifelong learning, his world grew richer and more complex. Every person he encountered became a potential teacher, and every situation, no matter how routine, held insights waiting to be uncovered. Atticus started by making small changes. He would read not only from his favorite subjects, but would pick up books on unfamiliar topics. He asked deeper questions during conversations and listened carefully to others' perspectives. Each interaction became a new opportunity to learn. The more he practiced this, the more he realized how vast the world of knowledge truly was, and how limiting it was to think he already knew enough. Have you ever considered that learning doesn't end when you leave school, that every day presents countless opportunities for growth? Lifelong learning, Atticus discovered, isn't just about filling one's mind with facts. It's about cultivating a mindset of open curiosity. With this perspective, he found himself not only learning more, but also enjoying life's daily moments more deeply. There was no more routine, only new avenues for discovery. The wisdom of Stoicism emphasizes that a curious mind is a free mind, liberated from the confines of certainty and judgment. Atticus realized that as he broadened his perspective, his intelligence deepened and his understanding of the world grew richer and more textured. Lifelong learning, he found, was a path that kept his mind agile, adaptable, and endlessly curious. Are you too ready to embrace a lifetime of learning, to see every interaction as a potential lesson, and to approach each day with wonder? With each new piece of knowledge, Atticus felt more connected to the world, more aware of his own potential. With a heart and mind open to learning, Atticus now turned to a practice that seemed simple but held profound wisdom: the practice of gratitude. Atticus had learned to seek knowledge in unexpected places, and each day was now a classroom of sorts. But one day, he read a passage from Marcus Aurelius that urged him to pause and reconsider his approach to life itself. Atticus realized he had been so focused on learning and self-improvement that he had often overlooked a simple yet profound Stoic practice: gratitude. To the Stoics, gratitude wasn't just a fleeting feeling but a deliberate and powerful way of seeing the world. It opened one's eyes to the beauty and value in everyday moments, turning each experience, good or bad, into a lesson and an opportunity. Intrigued, Atticus decided to make gratitude a daily practice. He started small. Each morning, before diving into his tasks, he took a few moments to reflect on the things he was grateful for. At first, it felt awkward, listing the obvious things like family, friends, or good health. But as he continued, he found himself noticing subtler sources of gratitude, things he'd often taken for granted. The warmth of the sun on his face, the aroma of his morning coffee, the laughter shared with a friend. Imagine, like Atticus, taking a moment each day to appreciate the simple things around you. What if you viewed every experience, even the challenging ones, as gifts? Instead of focusing on what's missing or what's difficult, you'd shift your attention to the abundance already present. This shift in perspective is the essence of Stoicism, and Atticus discovered that the more he practiced it, the more resilient and content he became. In moments of stress or disappointment, gratitude offered him a grounding anchor. When his plans didn't go as expected, rather than feeling frustrated, he began to find value in the experience itself. He asked himself, "What did I learn? What hidden benefit can I find here?" Are there moments in your life that you could view through the lens of gratitude? Imagine the mental shift that could occur if, instead of lamenting setbacks, you chose to appreciate the lessons they bring. Gratitude, Atticus discovered, isn't just about appreciating the good. It's about finding meaning and growth in all aspects of life. This practice sharpened his intelligence, enabling him to see the world with greater clarity and insight. As Atticus embraced gratitude, he found himself more present, more aware, and more deeply connected to the richness of each moment. Intelligence, he realized, wasn't merely about accumulating knowledge, but about understanding the inherent value in every experience. With this newfound sense of appreciation, Atticus was ready to dive into another Stoic practice, one that invited him to look closely and truly observe. 6. The power of mindful observation. With gratitude now a regular part of his life, Atticus found himself more grounded and present. Yet, there was still an aspect of Stoicism that he hadn't fully embraced: the power of mindful observation. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Time discovers truth." Inspired, Atticus decided to dedicate time each day to practice mindful observation. One evening, he walked to the park near his home. Rather than being distracted by his phone or absorbed in his own thoughts, he focused on the sights and sounds around him. He noticed the colors of the setting sun, the way leaves swayed gently in the wind, and the delicate sounds of nature blending with the distant hum of the city. It was as if the world was unfolding before him in a way he had never noticed. Imagine being in Atticus's shoes, simply observing, without judgment or distraction. When was the last time you truly noticed the world around you? What if, like Atticus, you allowed yourself to pause, to observe with intention, and to appreciate the subtle details of life? In these quiet moments, Atticus found that his mind grew sharper, his awareness more refined. He began to notice patterns in people's behavior, understand subtle shifts in his environment, and uncover insights in what once seemed mundane. Practicing mindful observation didn't just make Atticus more perceptive, it made him more intelligent in a way that felt holistic and deeply rooted. He began to see connections between things, to notice cause and effect in everyday interactions, and to cultivate a kind of wisdom that came from direct experience rather than abstract thinking. Each moment he spent observing the world brought him closer to a richer, more nuanced understanding of life. This practice also strengthened his emotional resilience. In situations that once would have frustrated him, he learned to step back and observe his own reactions, noticing how emotions rose and fell, like waves on the shore. By observing rather than reacting, he gained a sense of control over his responses, a valuable skill that Stoicism holds in high regard. Have you ever taken a moment to observe not only the world, but also yourself? What might you learn if you simply watched your thoughts, your emotions, as they came and went? In these moments of mindful observation, Atticus found clarity and inner peace. Intelligence, he learned, was as much about understanding oneself as it was about understanding the external world. With a sharper mind and a heightened sense of awareness, Atticus was now ready to deepen his connections with others by practicing the art of active listening, a skill that would prove just as transformative. 7. The art of active listening. After practicing mindful observation, Atticus felt his awareness expanding, both of the world around him and of himself. But in his interactions with others, he realized that his mind often wandered, drifting to his own thoughts rather than truly absorbing the words being spoken. In Stoicism, he discovered, listening isn't merely about hearing words, it's about being fully present, understanding deeply, and connecting sincerely. Epictetus offered a reminder that Atticus couldn't ignore. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Atticus decided to put this advice to the test. He chose his next conversation with a friend, Cassia, as an opportunity to practice active listening. Rather than preparing responses or letting his thoughts drift, he focused entirely on Cassia's words, paying attention to her expressions, tone, and pauses. He allowed himself to simply listen without interrupting, without planning what he would say next. The impact was profound. For the first time, Atticus noticed the subtle emotions behind Cassia's words, the small hesitations that hinted at unspoken feelings, the light in her eyes when he asked a question that showed he had truly understood her. Atticus realized that by being fully present, he was learning more than just the facts of her story. He was connecting with her on a level he hadn't experienced before. Imagine sitting across from someone, focusing only on their words and the emotions they convey. What if you, like Atticus, practiced listening not just with your ears, but with your whole self? How might your relationships change if you gave others your complete attention? As Atticus learned, active listening deepens understanding, strengthens bonds, and brings a kind of intelligence that can't be acquired from books alone. It's an intelligence rooted in empathy, in seeing the world through another's eyes. This new approach to listening taught Atticus a valuable lesson. True intelligence isn't about proving one's own knowledge, but about understanding others. Each conversation became a new opportunity to learn, a chance to gain insights into different perspectives and experiences. By listening actively, Atticus found himself becoming more empathetic, more patient, and more connected to the people in his life. When was the last time you listened without any agenda, without forming a response in your mind? What might you learn if you simply let others speak, giving them the space to express themselves fully? Active listening, Atticus discovered, allowed him to absorb wisdom from every conversation, to understand not just words, but the human experience they reflected. With each conversation, Atticus felt his mind expanding, his understanding of people growing richer and more complex. Now, prepared to engage with others from a place of true presence, he was ready for the next lesson in his Stoic journey, learning to find balance and tranquility amidst the constant noise of daily life through the practice of seeking silence. 8. Seeking silence amidst the noise. With active listening enhancing his relationships and deepening his understanding, Atticus felt more connected to others than ever before. Yet he noticed that the world around him was rarely quiet. Between notifications, conversations, and endless tasks, true silence seemed almost impossible to find. In his study of Stoicism, however, he encountered a practice that the Stoics believed was essential for clarity and wisdom: the cultivation of silence. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once remarked, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Atticus realized that much of his own anxiety stemmed not from external events, but from the constant noise, both around him and within his own mind. Could it be, he wondered, that silence held the key to understanding his thoughts more clearly, to finding peace amidst life's clamor? Determined to try, Atticus set aside a few minutes each morning for silent reflection. He would sit quietly, close his eyes, and simply breathe, letting his thoughts settle like dust. At first, the silence felt uncomfortable. His mind raced, filled with to-do lists and worries. But gradually, as he persisted, something remarkable happened. The noise in his mind began to fade. In the stillness, he felt a sense of calm, a clarity he hadn't experienced in years. Imagine, like Atticus, taking a few moments each day to find silence. In today's world, where distractions are only a tap away, how often do you give yourself the gift of quiet? What if, instead of filling every spare moment with activity, you allowed yourself to simply be? As Atticus discovered, silence isn't just the absence of noise. It's a space where thoughts can settle, where insight can emerge, and where true intelligence can grow. In these moments of silence, Atticus found that he could discern which of his thoughts were valuable and which were mere noise. His anxieties, often fueled by overthinking, began to lose their hold on him. By embracing silence, he learned to confront his thoughts without fear, to let go of unnecessary worries, and to focus on what truly mattered. Each quiet moment strengthened his resilience, bringing him closer to the calm and centered mindset that Stoicism celebrates. Are there thoughts in your mind that you'd like to understand more clearly? Could you benefit from moments of silence, letting go of distractions to reconnect with yourself? Atticus discovered that silence wasn't an escape from the world. It was a way of returning to it with greater clarity and purpose. Intelligence, he realized, isn't only about thinking, but about understanding when to let thoughts rest, when to allow the mind its much-needed quiet. With a newfound respect for silence, Atticus felt more grounded, more in tune with himself. He was now ready to deepen his understanding of human nature by engaging with people from all walks of life, exploring the next Stoic principle: the value of diverse interactions. 9. The value of diverse interactions. Atticus's practice of silence had given him clarity and inner calm, yet he knew there was still much to learn. He came across a Stoic teaching that suggested wisdom is not gained in solitude alone, but also through connecting with others, especially those from different backgrounds and perspectives. Seneca advised, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." Atticus pondered this wisdom and realized that the greatest insights often arise from unexpected sources. Curious, Atticus decided to step out of his usual circle of friends and engage with people whose lives and ideas were entirely different from his own. One evening, he joined a community event where people from all walks of life gathered to share stories. He listened to a local artist discuss her creative process, a retired teacher talk about his travels, and a young entrepreneur share his vision for social change. Each conversation opened a door to new worlds of thought and experience, giving Atticus perspectives he hadn't considered before. Imagine yourself in Atticus's position, engaging with someone whose life or beliefs challenge your own. What could you learn from them if you listened with an open mind? Could you, like Atticus, gain a deeper understanding of the world by stepping outside your comfort zone? Each interaction, Atticus discovered, was a chance to see life through a different lens, to learn from people's unique insights, struggles, and triumphs. Through these diverse interactions, Atticus began to see the value of multiple perspectives. He noticed that each person carried a piece of wisdom that, when combined, painted a richer picture of human experience. Even when he disagreed with someone, he found value in understanding their viewpoint, realizing that it added depth to his own thinking. His intelligence was no longer limited to his own ideas. It expanded to include the experiences and insights of those around him. Have you too ventured outside your circle to learn from people with different backgrounds, beliefs, or experiences? What might you discover if you sought out diverse voices and allowed their stories to broaden your perspective? Atticus found that intelligence was not just an individual pursuit, but a collective journey, enriched by the knowledge and experiences of others. With a heart open to new ideas and a mind enriched by diverse interactions, Atticus was ready to tackle the final, transformative lesson in his Stoic journey: cultivating curiosity over judgment. This would be the crowning principle that allowed him to see the world with fresh eyes and a truly Stoic mind. 10. Cultivating curiosity over judgment. Having opened his mind to diverse perspectives, Atticus felt his understanding of the world deepening. But one habit remained that he found hard to shake: the tendency to judge quickly. He would often catch himself forming opinions about people or situations almost immediately, based on first impressions or past experiences. But Stoicism, he learned, teaches a different approach. Epictetus once wisely observed, "It is impossible for a person to begin to learn what he thinks he already knows." This struck Atticus deeply. Could it be that his judgments were not signs of intelligence, but barriers to it? What if, instead of forming immediate conclusions, he could embrace a mindset of open curiosity, allowing himself to explore ideas and experiences with fresh eyes? Determined to make a change, Atticus decided to approach each new interaction and situation with a childlike curiosity. One afternoon, he visited an art exhibit that showcased unconventional styles he hadn't appreciated before. Instead of dismissing the art as not his taste, he paused and asked himself, why did the artist choose this style? What emotions are they trying to convey? Imagine, like Atticus, approaching life with curiosity instead of judgment. How would your understanding shift if you suspended assumptions and opened yourself to discovery? When we let go of preconceived notions, we allow ourselves to truly see and learn. Curiosity, Atticus discovered, was not just about asking questions. It was a mindset that freed him from the confines of rigid thinking, opening doors to insights that judgment had previously blocked. Curiosity also transformed his relationships. Instead of assuming he knew why a friend felt a certain way, he would ask questions and explore their perspective. In doing so, he found that he learned far more about the people in his life and about himself. He realized that true intelligence was not just about knowing answers, but about being willing to question, to explore, and to understand. When was the last time you let curiosity lead rather than judgment? What new insights or connections could you uncover if you approached situations and people with genuine interest? Atticus learned that curiosity is a powerful tool in Stoicism. It opens our minds, dissolves barriers, and transforms each experience into an opportunity for growth. With curiosity as his guide, Atticus completed his Stoic journey. He had learned to embrace change, to find wisdom in discomfort, to listen, to seek silence, and to see every interaction as a lesson. Through these principles, he found a path to intelligence that was both expansive and grounded, a path that helped him grow wiser with each passing day. Atticus's story shows that the path to true intelligence isn't simply about accumulating knowledge. It's about cultivating curiosity, practicing resilience, connecting deeply with others, and approaching life with an open heart and mind. Stoicism offers timeless tools for anyone seeking wisdom and insight. Tools that, when practiced daily, lead not only to a sharper mind, but to a richer life. As you reflect on Atticus's journey, consider, which of these Stoic principles resonates most with you? Are there practices you're ready to try, perspectives you'd like to embrace, or habits you'd like to change? Comment below with your thoughts on which Stoic practice you feel will most impact your life. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this journey with Atticus meaningful, and share this video with anyone you think might benefit from these powerful techniques. Thank you for joining us on this journey. May the wisdom of Stoicism guide you towards greater intelligence, inner peace, and a life filled with curiosity and insight.